You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Republicans plan to hide brain-dead Trump like McConnell. Critics based on an article by Adam Lynch. The GOP's favorite trick is pretending the boss is fine. Wajahat Arley and Jim Acosta describe a familiar Republican move: protect power by pretending obvious decline is invisible. Their target is not just Mitch McConnell's condition, but the playbook that would be used again for Donald Trump if his health becomes impossible to hide. The details in their exchange are less important than the structure they expose: a party apparatus that treats public reality as optional when institutional control is at stake. The lie is the mechanism. The source is not really about one aging senator or one sleepy president. It is about how a political machine behaves when the person at the center starts to fail. Arley and Acosta point to Republicans already claiming they personally spoke with McConnell, as if a few staged anecdotes can overwrite what everyone can see. That is not confusion. It is management. Republicans are not waiting to find out whether the public notices. They are rehearsing the cover story in advance. That is what a power structure does when it assumes voters, reporters, and even institutions can be trained to doubt their own eyes. The real authority controls the narrative. The question is not whether Trump looked exhausted at the Knicks game, America's 250th celebration, the Pope's funeral, or a meeting with Turkey's president. The question is who gets to decide whether any of that matters. On that front, the source is blunt. Republican pundits and apparatchiks are already doing the work of normalization. That is the institutional fact pattern. The people with access, loyalty, and platform power get to say he's fine. The rest are expected to shrug, delay, or pretend not to notice. This is how declining leaders stay operational inside a captured party, not through vitality, but through a chorus of enablers who convert visible deterioration into a communications problem. The media still misreads the crime scene. Acosta's point lands because the press has already shown how badly it can distort political accountability. Biden gets one bad debate and the coverage becomes an emergency siren. Trump can repeatedly wander into public view, fall asleep, garble basic facts, and the system still finds ways to file it under personality. That is not balance. It is asymmetry dressed up as professionalism. The media keeps treating Trump's deterioration as entertainment or eccentricity, while his allies treat it as something to be concealed for strategic advantage. One side is lying about capacity. The other side keeps narrating the lie as if it were merely odd behavior. Senate power comes before truth. The source also makes the motive plain. Republicans do not want to disturb the balance of power in the Senate right now. That is the whole point. Truth is disposable when control of the chamber is on the line. This is why the McConnell episode matters beyond McConnell. It shows how little Republican institutions care about candor when candor might produce consequences. Health, competence, and continuity become secondary to preserving the vote count, the committee structure, and the leverage that comes with control. The public is asked to accept a fiction because the party needs the machinery to keep running. What the pattern really shows, the larger pattern, is not that old politicians get frail. That is ordinary. The pattern is that authoritarian politics depends on making obvious weakness impossible to name. It requires loyalists who lie, pundits who launder the lie, and a political press often too timid to state the obvious with force. That is the deeper lesson here. Republican power is not just exercised through policy or elections. It is exercised through denial as infrastructure. The party does not merely tolerate distortion. It relies on it. And when the leader becomes visibly unfit, the instinct is not accountability. It is concealment. That is the system. The health problem is not the headline. The health problem is the coalition built to survive by denying reality. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to AlterNet for today's article. With the automated voice of LJ, thanks for listening.